Somebody posted a picture of his tattoos and they match.
This is the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa, Internet World, West Alabama. How we doing today on this Tuesday? This is Joe Gaither Show right here on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com. I am Joe Gaither. You're watching us on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube at Joe Gaither6, or you're checking us out, of course, on the Bama Central YouTube channel, or you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on Amazon. We are right here, first full week of November. Excited about a lot of things today, and we invite you to jump in and join us at Joe Gaither6 on the comment section. Send me a comment, question, query, or complaint. We're hanging out with our friend Mason Woods. You follow him at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine, and we are going to talk about Alabama basketball. The Crimson Tide rolled last night over UNC Asheville, so we're going to talk about Alabama basketball. We're going to talk about the biggest poll of the day, not the presidential election poll. We're going to talk about the college football playoff poll. Finally, it is here, the first edition of the 12-team playoff poll.
We also get Maction tonight. So,
hey, and NFL trade deadline. My Chicago Bears have already made a move today.
Oh, I've seen some moves happening. What did the Bears do? I know I remember
Bears.
seeing it,
We set Khalil Herbert free.
What it was, yeah.
Khalil Herbert is now with the Cincinnati Bengals in exchange for a 7th-round draft pick. He was rotting away on our bench, so he gets new life.
Get something out of this.
Absolutely, for sure. He's not a bad player, just kind of a crowded running back room. So, big Tuesday.
Plenty of things to focus on outside of the election today.
Absolutely, dude. Plenty. And you know what? It's even better for me, Mason. When I got home from Alabama basketball last night, I put on Monday Night Raw.
How was it?
And I made it about halfway through before I was.
That's fair.
And so I got tonight as I'm waiting for to find out the fate of the world. I'll be able to watch wrestling. I'll be able to watch Maction. I'll be able to distract myself very, very well. And I hope you and yours make a plan for the evening. Spend some time with your family. This will be. I mean, I know the natural thing will be to be stuck in front of one of the legacy media TV channels watching who's getting what state. And I understand there's a lot of feelings and emotions on the line, but maybe a good look. It's just one thing that's helped me get a whole lot better at fantasy football is not staring at my phone the entire Sunday, looking at the scoreboard, just looking at the scoreboard. Look, can I get one more point? Can they get one more point? No, just go do something. Go have go read a book, go do an activity, come back a couple hours later, and you'll see, it's updated.
Points?
All right, sweet.
That's a great feeling. But
so tonight, take the same concept, have a dinner with your family, or get a puzzle out with your wife, or do something, away from the election. Because when you click back into it at 11 o'clock at night, you'll have a much better picture of what's going to happen. And really what?
Yeah, you're not going to know what the verdict is until very, very late anyway.
It's probably into 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning.
Yes. So just don't think about it if you don't want to.
Go cast your vote. Absolutely.
Yes. But just, go vote and then go focus on sports the rest of the day because there's plenty of that to talk about.
Absolutely. Lots of distractions abound for the sports fans. And that's what we are going to talk about today on the Joe Gaither Show. We want to remind everybody that we are live in the Derry Daniel State Farm Studios. You can check us out right off McFarland Boulevard. We're up we're up Highway 69 South, past the Tiger Rock on the left. Call Derek Daniel today, 205-758-3391 for all of your insurance needs. Home, life, auto insurance, 205-758-3391. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. Mason, you want to start with last night?
Let's start with
last night. My gosh, so much fun. Both of us going out. I think I said, 88-66. Mason said 92-70 something. Like good numbers on the offensive end. 88 points, that would have been a great start. 92 points, that would have been a great start.
Yeah.
How about 110?
Woo! Man, 110 points. And did not shoot a lot of threes.
Effortless?
Yeah, looked very, very easy. I don't really think at any moment I felt that Alabama's offense was getting pressed at all or getting slowed down. I think there was a very, very brief stretch in the first half where there was a couple turnovers back to back, but that was really it. The entire game, it was just, we're going to do whatever we want offensively. Oh, you're going to let Cliff Amore get down to the paint? All right, we'll find him and he'll yam it on you. You're going to let you're going to let Mark Sears bounce around the perimeter. He'll hit a three on you. You're going to let Latrell Wrightsell go over here. He'll hit a little mid-range floater. That was a rare occasion in the NATO's offense, but it was beautiful. So it's just everything was working for Alabama offensively and defensively as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because look at this. Okay. Everybody scores.
Man,
Grant
everybody
Nelson
scores.
Grant Nelson and Max Chernowski tied for the low with 2 points apiece. Oh, man, bad game for Grant. And no, Grant was 0 for 1 from the floor. And then he made 2 free throws.
Yeah, he didn't really get a ton of
two
opportunities.
of 4 from the free throw line. And obviously, we talked about it yesterday. Grant coming back from a little bit of an off-season injury. He, Latrell, and Aiden Sherrell coming off off-season injuries. But it was just it was just it really looked like a team. Because this is going to sound like not a compliment, but it was. It looked like a team that was playing in the summer.
Yeah.
It looked like a team that was just, we want to get up and down the floor as fast as possible because this is who we are. It wasn't like we've been coached to run fast and we're forcing it and we're just trying. No, these guys were flying up and down. Like, okay, where's my points in the
everybody
paint?
Played so loose and fluid. It looked like
56 points in the paint. 56 points in the paint, 10 of 18 on layups, 11 of 11 on dunks. And like everybody talks about, we've done this dance before, Mason, about what's the NATO offense. It's not about the 3 ball. It's about the dunk. It's about putting the ball in the basket because highest percentage, look, this is all about math, folks. What's the highest percentage play? Taking your 2 hands and placing it into the bucket. Like that is the easiest, highest percentage play. And so that's what the goal is. Get up the floor as fast as possible, get to the rim so someone can, I'm super athletic. I can place the ball into the hole. There's no chance of missing.
Or get fouled and get to the free throw line where you should be a 70 to 80% free throw shooter.
37 free throws for Alabama last night. They made 26 of them for 70%. You want the percentage to be a little higher, but you get into the line a ton of time. So like, exactly. It's dunks and layups. It's free throws second, and then it's 3-pointers. And you see it on display. Like only 8 of 18 from beyond the 3-point line. Like you see, that's 44%. We will take that percentage all day long. But you're saying 18, that seems like a little low of a number. But that's exactly what the offense is supposed to be. Many years, the last couple of years, you haven't had
that presence inside.
The presence inside, but the ability to we can get up the floor in 2.5 seconds. Like, yes, Mark's done it some last year, and you had JQ did it a little bit during his time, and a couple different guards did it some. But like the consistent, you put Aiden Holloway, you put LeBaron Philon, you put Mark Sears on the court together, any combo 2 out of 3 or all 3 of those guys. Latrell is out there as well. Like you got some of these guards that are just naturally, as soon as I get it, I'm looking up and everybody's flaring out. Everybody's leaking to the basket. And it's just like, you better be getting back on this team or you have no shot to play this team.
Every single member of this team can do that. There is there's no weak link as far as stretching the floor and getting fast breaks and making things happen offensively. It was like watching, it was poetry in motion, that game last night. Like it was just a beautiful thing.
I overlooked it. Fast break points, 33. just like, 33. So what's 33 from 100? From 110? That's 80. You would have scored 83 points without the fast break. Like that's the element that sends you into. We're blowing you out.
Yeah, that's what puts them over that. That's what puts them over the hump of just being a good offensive team to being an elite offensive team.
All right. Everybody excited about Mark Sears, obviously. 20 points, 6 of 8 from the floor, 3 for 4 from beyond the arc. Effortless indeed. 3 rebounds, 1 assist, only 2 turnovers from Mark. Played in 24 minutes. Like, when you think about last year where he's going 39 minutes and just like
dying every game.
And he's out here, I'm just stroking 3 balls.
He probably barely broke a sweat. Nate Oates did say after the game that Sears' defensive effort was significantly better than it was last year, and I thought that was very apparent. Top to bottom, the defense was awesome, but it's really with Sears, he was like just locking dudes up right at the 3-point line.
All right, we talked about it really before we started yesterday. Alabama's defensive effort.
Mm-hmm.
And we know Coach Oates' metric. We want to be holding teams between 0.6 to 0.7, really 0.7 or under. Have you seen it? Did you see last night's blocks? What was it? What's your guess? Points per possession for Alabama basketball's defense against UNC Asheville.
I guess say 0.5.
Okay, that's you thought they did really good, and they did do well. It wasn't 0.5, it was 0.75.
That's still
yes, compared to last year,
where
you're going 1.1, where you're going 0.99, where it's just like, my gosh, barely hanging on.
Night and day difference from last year's team, and it's you have to see it. You kind of have to watch it and see it in action. Like, obviously, you can read the box score and see that Alabama completely dominated, but seeing it in person, seeing it happen on the floor, like top to bottom, again, this team is so incredibly deep. You got 12 guys that can be in rotation, basically. It's just like, what do you do if you are playing against Alabama? There's no way to.
What do you think about the defensive link? I mean, we talked about Cliff, and we're all excited about Cliff coming in from Rutgers, but you had Cliff, you got Jaron Stevenson, you got Darian Reed. When Cliff gets tired, and he might get tired a little bit this year. When Cliff gets tired, you got Aiden Sherrill. Like, they're just the length of the team.
Yeah, Aiden Sherrill, bigger than I realized. I knew he was a big guy, obviously, but like, you see him on the floor, and he just sucks up space out there. He's insane. He's like a brick wall. He was all over people. He was everywhere. He was in the limited time he played last night. He was very, very impressive. I was super happy with his performance, and I think he's going to be a big piece of the team this season.
Aiden Sherrill, 6 points, 6 points, 9 rebounds.
He was
9
also
rebounds
a hard hat winner
in 17 minutes. Unbelievable. 17 minutes. He had 1 assist, 1 foul, 1 steal.
He was great
for not playing really any in the preseason.
And honestly, you said he only played 17 minutes. It
17
felt
minutes.
like watching he played more, and maybe that's just because he was so impactful in his time on the floor. He was very, very good.
Someone else very impactful in his time on the floor. Only 16 minutes for number 10, Mo Diabate.
Give me Mo D.
11 points, 5 of 9 from the floor, 7 total rebounds, 2 assists, 1 foul for Mo Diabate coming off the bench. He will never start for this team. Let's just all come to that agreement right now. But
I think you said it while we were watching last night. He's not the best player. He's the most important player.
Yes, maybe.
Latrell Wright. Somebody asked Latrell Wrightsell after the game about it. He said, and me and you have said, he's a junkyard dog. He can do whatever you need him to do. And that's the perfect description of Mo D. He is not going to wow you with, amazing, flashy plays, but he is just going to play extremely hard-nosed basketball. And he's going to make things really difficult for you on the defense or on the defensive end. And then he's going to go down and he's just going to play like a pit bull once he gets the ball in his hands.
Yeah, 4 offensive rebounds. 4 of his 7 rebounds coming on the offensive end. Makes his only 3-point shot, so he knows I'm not a 3-point shooter, but when I get it and when I like it, I'm going to knock it down. I just think, I'm going to have a hard time this year, Mason, between Mo and LeBaron being my favorite player.
LeBaron was, whoa. And you had kind of talked him up to me a little bit. Obviously,
did you believe me before last night?
I didn't know he was going to be as good as he was. He blew my expectations out of the water.
He was ridiculous.
Yes, the feel, just the natural instinctual feel that he has for basketball is off the charts, and you can just see it when he plays. He is always around the basketball. Anytime there is anything, it's like, oh, you get a little tip from LeBaron. Oh, he's around there to catch the outlet pass. Oh, he's there to catch a ball driving to the basket. Oh, he's there on the perimeter to shoot a three. He's just amazing. He was everywhere. He did absolutely everything. I think the only possible negatives that you can say was he just made a couple freshman plays. I think once he dribbled the ball off his foot, he made a bad pass once, just a little ill-advised pass trying to get it up the court. But, he was trying to make a play. He's looking up the court to find. So, yeah, he is every bit as good as advertised and more.
At 11:49 in the first half. LeBaron Philon gets a steal. At 11:46, good. I'm just reading his chart. Good layup. 11:46 awesome. Again, not a second later, steal from the underneath, and then it gets 11:42 and 43 good free throws because they fouled him trying to get back. Like he got a steal, straight to the basket, layup. Oh, you're inbounding the ball. I'm just going to tip it away and steal it again.
He almost got the and one on it. The ball, it rolled. Rolled. Oh man, he was fantastic.
How does Nate Oates go to sleep last night? I don't know how the adrenaline goes from level 10 back down to level 1 or 0, so you can go to sleep after that performance.
Yeah, I think he was asked about this after the game, but just how do you tell this team anything? Like, hey,
how do you? What did you say? I didn't hear it.
Well, it was on the radio. I don't even remember exactly what he said. I think he kind of just brushed it off, like, oh, I know we're very talented, but you still got to tell the team. You got to do little things. He didn't really give much insight, but I really have to think that's a genuine, not a struggle necessarily, because obviously the team is so good. I guess it's a good problem to have, but I imagine that complacency is a thing that across a fairly long season could get into play when they start beating teams by 56 points.
We said, both of us, 26, 27 and a half. That's probably a little much. Yeah. That's a little much.
This is the conference favorite. This is a team that is favored to win their conference.
I don't know.
They're going to win probably 22, 23 games this year.
I probably wouldn't bet.
Oh,
I don't know. I'd stay away. I don't know. And they just...
I will never go against them again. Not after that.
Insanity.
Until they prove me wrong, I will be rolling with the tide. Give me the points and everything.
Insanity. Just ridiculous. Okay, one player we haven't mentioned. What do you think those people across the state thought when Aiden?
How many of them do you think hate watched it?
Oh, all of them. Because they hate that kid. Like the fuel. Hey, you just say the name Holloway, and it just fires him up. And for him, I know his first game against Virginia Tech, the scrimmage, it didn't start off great, but he ended up leading the team in scoring it by the end of it. And so it turned out well. But I know the Auburn faithful got a lot of mileage out of the first half of that game. And then Memphis game, yeah, you watched it, not so good either.
He was kind of iffy in that game. But
and then it comes out, first three-pointer, bottom. Just no problem. 11 points, 3 of 6 from the floor. He was 3 of 3 from the free throw line. Let's see.
2 for 3 from 3, I think.
4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 fouls, and a steal in 24 minutes of action.
Yeah,
Aiden Holloway.
He was extremely efficient in his time on the floor. And there was, and this is something we had talked about this a little bit. And, again, that Memphis game is strange because it's been an outlier. They were missing so many people.
So many fouls, too.
And, I had said that maybe I don't want to see him and Mark Sears on the floor together a ton, but I reject that statement. I will take that back because you said it last night. Nate Oates has his format for a lineup. You get your 2 guards, a shooter, and 2 bigs, and they're going to dominate. There's so many combinations of that on this team, too. And he said it, I think, after the game, talking about they're going to be rotating lineups. They still haven't figured out what the starting 5 is, and he said they probably never will by the end of the season because they're going to be rotating it so much because there's just so many options.
Exactly. I would every game just be like, how do we want to bleep this team that we're about to play? How does this team? What lineup do they not want to see? That's the one we're rolling out here first.
Sounds good. Oh man.
Let's say we got to get real big. We got Mark running the guard, running point guard, Cliff at the 5, Aiden Churro at the 4, Grant at the 3, and I don't know, Darian Reed, Jaron Stevenson at the 2. And it's just like you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
And people, if you just heard that and you thought, Joe, what the hell are you like? Yes, that's a wild lineup. That you probably will not see that.
No,
but like hypothetically, that could work.
You
could
it
beat
might not be
teams.
the most efficient lineup, but it could work.
You could beat teams with that
all of
lineup.
those players could play in those roles because of how skilled they are and how skilled everyone on this team
It's
is.
insane.
If you really wanted to, you could honestly probably take Mark out and have someone else even run the point.
Right. Let's just say you wanted to go real small. You go Mark, Aiden, LeBaron, Trelly, and boom, you're playing Cliff or Grant at the 5 or Modi at the 5.
And then you're just going to burn everybody. That I genuinely have no idea if you're a college coach how you even begin to draw up a game plan for defending this. You have to just look at your guys and just be like, hey, this week you're just going to have to man up and not be bad. I don't know what to tell you. These guys are really good.
So this brings me to it is a perfect place to go to the next part of this discussion, this basketball discussion. I was so happy to be in Coleman last night. I was so happy. A lot of you guys know if you watch this show, like, okay, we try to be objective as we can for football, for a lot of things. When it comes to Alabama basketball, I do lose my brain a lot. And so I was really, really happy to be in there. And with that said, bravo. Yeah, the Alabama students were in there full.
The entire section, top to bottom.
With 20 minutes to go, with 20 minutes until tip, the entire student section was packed to the brim from section, whatever section they started with, all the way over to 2 sections over, from the court to the roof, and just really, really well done, Crimson Chaos for the first. Look, if we are who we think we are, the big bad blue blood of basketball, I know that's not what you are, but if you're the big brand of basketball,
you want to be respected that way,
right? If you want to be playing with the big boys, we fill out the stadium from night 1 because you take it seriously. And the students absolutely did that last night. Then you got to give credit all the way back to Luke Ratliff. You got to give credit last year to Jacob Pickle, keeping it going. You got to give credit to Andy Hayes, keeping it going, the new Crimson Chaos president. Well done to really everybody. And even the presidents, I know I left 2 or 3 out names, and I'm sorry for that. But really, the student section, since Luke has been was involved, has just really, really ramped up. And I was so proud, really, to see that last night. Yeah, it's UNC Asheville. Yes, it's a Monday night. It's an 8:00 game. They probably thought, oh, we're going to beat them by 80. Why should we show up? No, you show up because this team, if you're not getting to these games, you're going to be kicking yourself.
You are missing out.
You're going to be like we said it with Brandon Miller 2 years ago.
Like premier, you need to watch this.
Yes, we said it with Brandon Miller 2 years ago. And last year's team, I know, underwhelmed during the regular season, but obviously they put it all together at the end. Like the program right now, if you have an inkling for liking basketball at all, like this is your time. And so the students, A++. Now the other regular ticket holders, it was a sellout. So Coach Oates is happy about that on the list. And about a B+ crowd.
Not bad.
Pretty good crowd.
Filled out okay though. By about 5 to 10 minutes into the game, it was looking pretty good.
Yeah, and so really a good job on the whole for the start of the year. Now Friday, look,
it better be even more packed.
It's a Friday night game. It's a 7:00 game, not 8. A lot of your high schools are already out of the playoffs. I know if you're at Hillcrest, sorry, you had a tough year. You're out of the playoffs. County High, you're out of the playoffs. Central, love you guys, but you're out of the playoffs. So, like a lot of these schools, your sons, your daughters are not, like their Friday night plans are discontinued as of last week.
Get to Coleman Coliseum.
Like literally, look.
Tickets are very cheap.
You want to know what I did? And you can call the cops on me if you want to. But I was gifted tickets yesterday, and I really, really appreciate that gift. And we got into we sat there in our seats, and we looked around. I said, you see those seats down there close to the floor? My buddy said, yeah, sure. And we just walked on down. Like, don't let the ticket prices, just buy a ticket and go sit kind of where you want to. Be nice. If somebody asks you to move, but like, this is an experience that you're going to want to say that you experienced. These 13 players, these 12 players.
Very special.
Unbelievable. And I was worried last night going into the game thinking, I wonder if these guys know their hot stuff. And I wonder if they know that they can just just go into third gear. And because offensively, they might have been in third gear. But defensively, well
40
done.
40 minutes of defense.
Yes. A couple possessions here or there. And UNC Asheville definitely made some real good shots.
They really did. And, this game will not reflect it, but they are not a bad basketball team.
And so for that, it seems like coaches got it through to them, at least right off the bat.
Yeah,
hey,
100%.
Defense has got to be the calling card, and the offense will take care of itself. Just a really special and fun way to start.
You think it's just easier to play defense when you don't have to lock in as hard on offense? It's almost like they only have to get into fifth gear on defense.
Sure, yeah.
Then they can just be like, all right, let's go have some fun. Let's get out here. Let's dribble around a little bit.
Because they know, hey, lob it up the cliff.
That might be. That's probably a. I'm sure Nate Oates is not coaching that into them, but I'm sure he knows in the back of his head, these guys kind of just get a bit of a break on offense.
I think absolutely they do. And so it's a lot of fun. I had one more thing I wanted to say for basketball. Dadgummit, what was it? Attendance, defense, the season. What was it? It'll come to me in
I did want to mention the pregame announcements, the pregame red shirt announcements.
That's exactly what it was. Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, and I think we had maybe speculated on the show that we knew one was coming, Nas Cunningham, just a bit undersized, a guy that needs to bulk up a little bit for the rigors of SEC basketball. Still a talented player, but I think Nate Oates said he just needs. It's a lot harder to put on weight when you're playing, so they decided to redshirt him, which is great. But the one that surprised me a little bit, Houston Millett. I did not really. I knew he had kind of maybe dealt with some things in the offseason. I didn't really know the extent of it, but I guess he has some sort of a knee issue that's going to keep him out kept him out for an extended time this offseason. So they felt it was in the team's and his best interest to maybe just let him sit out this year in redshirt. So you got 2 red shirts on this year's team, which was not quite expecting. But
so that takes you down from 12 scholarship players to 10, and. All right, we were in agreement. We all thought Nas was going to be one of those guys. When you're driving over to the stadium, we're hearing, couple red shirts. Who's the other guy? Houston, it makes sense with the need. It sounded like he didn't really practice a whole lot during the summer, and it sounded like he wanted to fight through it and try to make this year worth his time. But all right, so let's just take what we have seen so far. Last year, it wasn't Nas Cunningham. What's the young man's name? The red-shirted ended up transferring it. Chris Parker. He's transferred now to Villanova. So my question is, because I like what you've seen just on tape with Houston Millett. Yeah. Obviously, we haven't seen him in action. And you hear really good things about Nas Cunningham. Coach Oates has said, man, when he is on, he's maybe one of our better players. He just needs more muscle, just like you said. So the question with both these guys, will it be a Chris Parker situation where they sit on the bench and they're working? Look, I think Chris Parker was a good teammate last year. I think he knows nothing nefarious, nothing bad. I never heard any sort of arguments with the coaching staff, nothing like that. I heard that he was just, I'm redshirting, I'm playing hard, I'm practicing, I'm developing. At the end of the year, though, he transfers to Villanova. Yeah. And so from a selfish perspective, for me, I'm thinking, what about that year of investment? Alabama invested in you, Chris Parker.
He got developed by one of the best coaches in the country.
Yes, absolutely. And now you're off to Villanova. Now, there could be a lot of conversations that I wasn't privy to, for sure. Yeah. Let's just talk about, let's spin it forward to Houston Millett and to Nas Cunningham. These two guys, Millett, you recover from your injury, you get yourself right, you learn the system, you're a good practice player, you're a spot-up shooter, you figure out your role. Same thing, Cunningham, you put on weight, you develop, you get used to the college. Will they be on the Alabama basketball team in 2025? Or do we think we're just going to babysit them for a year, incubate them for a year, and send them off to another program. That would be sad.
Yeah, with Houston Millett, I don't think so. I think he sticks around just because of the way he committed. He committed before the season was even over last year and was like very, adamant about wanting to be a part of Alabama basketball, I think. Nas Cunningham, I don't know as much about. That one does worry me maybe a little more just because of maybe what we've heard about him and how good he can be. And then, I wouldn't be surprised if there's another team out there that looked at him and said, "Oh, we can let you play right now." So that's very possible. It's just tough to say. I think it depends a lot maybe on what Alabama's roster is going to look like going into next season. Obviously, we'll see who stays and who leaves from this year's team. I think there's
a long way away from those discussions.
Yeah. I think maybe there's some guys who are NBA bound potentially. Maybe we'll see. And that'll open some spots up. Maybe some other things happen that open some spots up. But again, like you said, we're very far away from those discussions. And I don't want to think about that right now because I love this team. I already love this team. They were awesome last night. But back to your original question. I don't think that Houston Millett is going to do that. I think he appears to be locked in at least. Nas Cunningham, I also don't think so, but I'm less sure about.
All right, so before we wrap the basketball, I want to just get Mason to give me your three big thoughts from last night. Your three big. I walked away from Coleman Coliseum. I just laid my head on the pillow, and these are the three thoughts about Alabama basketball that I have.
Defense is ferocious. Defense is just as good as they've ever been under Nate Oates. LeBaron Philon just as good as advertised. And let's see, Aiden Terrell, or not Aiden Terrell, Aiden Holloway, better than I expected. Much better than I expected.
Those Auburn fans poisoned your mind.
They did. I didn't think he was going to be a bad player, but I only watched that Memphis scrimmage, and that one left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. So
and you saw him all year long talk about how bad he was in the offseason. There we go.
So, but yeah, those would probably be the biggest things that I took away, just because going into it, those are probably the things I was looking out for the most.
Friday night, 7 o'clock, Arkansas State. Look, be in there not only for this team because they're very, very special, but Brian Hodgson
Yell
comes
at Brian
back.
Hodgson.
Yeah, give him a little, give him a cheer, but also give him a jeer because,
he'll appreciate it.
He will. He absolutely will. He'll take it in great stride. And I think we should welcome Brian Hodgson back with open arms and lots of, welcome him back with an intense environment. You helped build this intense environment. Now you get a little taste of it on the other end.
I think that would be the nicest gift that we could give Brian Hodgson.
Absolutely. All right, so let's move on. We're going to talk about tonight's college football playoff poll, and then we are going to wrap it up and get out of here. Before we talk about the playoff poll, though, we have to tell you about our friends, Purple Turtle Roofing. They're the most reliable residential roof replacement company in Alabama and Mississippi. Whether it's addressing leaks, storm damage, or general wear and tear, Purple Turtle Roofing is going to be there to deliver exceptional roof repair for your property. Purple Turtle Roofing is the leading expert in the local residential roofing solutions, specializing in providing unparalleled service and quality craftsmanship for all your roof replacement needs. Call Dustin Foley and his team today at 877-PT-ROOF-5 for your free inspection. That's 877-787-6635 to schedule your appointment, and one of their qualified employees will come check out your roof for free and make sure you're prepared for any and all of life's storms. Check them out online today at roofturtle.com. Mason, do you remember? Are you even old enough to remember commercials that had like the phone numbers with actual words in them and how the words?
Oh yeah. I remember. I was fascinated.
Blew my mind.
I had no idea how it worked.
Right.
Until I saw a cell phone or saw a phone and I was like, oh.
How can I type in, roof on my phone? No, it's 877.
A very specific conversation with my dad. Like, how does that work? And he was just like, oh, buddy.
877-787-6635 for your free roof inspection. We always appreciate Purple Turtle Roofing for sponsoring the program. And, of course, we want to remind you we are live in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios just off McFarland Boulevard. Call Derek for all your home life auto insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel and State Farm is there. 205-758-3391. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. Last week, we talked about the college football playoff a lot. Let's make sure I have my times right. College football playoff poll. Yep. Let's just make sure we have our times right. It's going to be tonight at 7 o'clock, right?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, 7 o'clock Eastern, so
also is
6 o'clock,
when-
6 o'clock Central. But I bet you they're going to stretch it across the whole hour and give it to you in the last 10 minutes of the
Probably.
program.
So in the for that first little bit, you can be watching Miami, Ohio, and Ball State, baby, Maction.
Ball
I'm excited
State,
to watch
they
Maction.
gave Vanderbilt a little run, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so. That was 2 weeks ago.
Go Cards, Ball State Cardinals, right?
Hey, yeah, we'll roll with that.
All right, let's do it.
Maction is just the most insane brand of college football. It's so crazy sometimes. It makes for some
Maction
fun
reminds
moments.
me of 2A high school
Yes,
football
exactly.
here in
That is
AHSAA.
prime perfect way to describe it. Like
Going
going over to Pickens County and watching the Tornadoes tear it up over there.
and you just never know what the coach is going to
It's
call.
awesome.
They're like, it's 4th and 16 from their own 33.
Quarterback draw.
Like,
and he's going
what?
to get it. It's awesome.
It's like, what are you doing, coach? And then boom, it works out for you. So tonight on ESPN, it's finally here. Your first edition of the 12-team playoff. And we debated last week if Alabama was going to be in or out. And then Alabama got a lot of help.
Yes,
a
they
lot of help. Clemson lost, Pittsburgh lost, Iowa State lost. Lots of help ahead of Alabama during the bye week. And the Crimson Tide found themselves at number 11 in the coaches poll and in the AP poll. So, Mason, I just have a guess, and this is a total guess at what the playoff's going to look like tonight, what the poll is going to look like tonight. Let's just bounce back and forth. My number 12 team, I'm going to the Mountain West team. I'm going with, obviously, that's the automatic qualifier, the highest ranked non-group of 5 conference champion. And I have Boise State. Are you going with anybody else right there?
I've got Notre Dame down there
Okay.
because I have Boise State higher.
Okay.
Because I'm not exactly sure how it's all going to work out, but I have Boise State. We can get to it later, but I've got them up at 5.
Ooh! All right. That'd be crazy.
Well, they'll be a Mountain West champion, assuming, won't they?
Right, but that's not so the first 4 are your conference champions for the top 4 teams.
Yeah,
and then the 5th team, it can go anywhere, but you are an automatic qualifier.
Yes.
So you can be anywhere from 5 to 12.
Okay.
So they're not.
I thought it was
They're not
the
slotted
15
into
gets
5.
that 5 slot, and they go to 12 if they were ranked outside of the top 12. That's a
No, I think that
misunderstanding
they
on my
can be
part. I
anywhere
got you
in
now.
that.
Well, then, with that new understanding, yes, Boise State at 12. I think I would agree with that. That's probably where they will slot in the Broncos.
Now I put the Alabama Crimson Tide right in 11.
That's
You feel
what
that?
I have also.
Okay. All right. So everybody calm it down. You don't even have to watch the show tonight. You can just bank Alabama in at 11. And who did they? Is it 11-6? Is that it? Yeah, because it's 5-12. 11-6. Oh my gosh, that would be hell. If at 10, I have Tennessee. Do you have anyone?
Who got Indiana?
I like it. I like Indiana. You've got to be in the field tonight.
I think they're going to disrespect Indiana a bit because of their strength of schedule. So I slotted them in at 10.
If they don't beat Ohio State, they can go 11-1 without a single ranked win.
They won't be in the playoffs.
You think so? I agree with you.
I don't think they'll be in the playoffs.
I think that'd be nuts.
I don't think they'll be in the playoff if they lose to Ohio State. Their schedule is so atrocious.
That's the problem with these super conferences. Indiana only gets 1 or 2 shots at a real win. Obviously, Michigan.
It's their own fault a bit for scheduling a weak non-conference.
Sure. Yes, that is the adjustment everybody needs to make.
Yes.
You just need to say, I'm finding a Power 5 game.
Yeah, I'll go play a South Carolina or
right,
somebody
a
like
Power
that.
5 game to give me a good. And I won't be playing West Tennessee Tech, Carolina. West Tennessee Tech for School and Blind. Number 9, I got Penn State.
Yep,
Big loss to Ohio State, but I still have them in the field.
That's what I've got also.
All right. 8, I had Indiana.
I've got Tennessee at 8.
Okay, so we're flip-flopping there. 7, I have Notre Dame.
I got Texas.
Okay. 6, I have Texas.
I got Ohio State at 6.
That'd be where Alabama goes. Could you imagine
I would
Alabama
love going to Ohio State.
At the Horseshoe?
Go
Alabama,
beat Ryan Day's brains in.
Alabama at Texas?
That would. Please, football gods, give us one of these matchups.
The other that you've seen a lot is Penn State at 6.
I'd be fine with that.
Happy Valley.
The last, if I remember right, the last time they went up to Happy Valley, it went pretty well for Alabama.
2011, got a big old win. Dear Lord, I know you have blessed me so much, and you continue to bless me. You really do. Amazing things for me. Absolutely. This is completely genuine. If you give me Alabama at Ohio State, at Texas, or at Penn State, I will be so thankful. It would be tears coming down just the experience to see those big brands of college football, Alabama rolling into those stadiums. I mean, Wisconsin this past September was super cool. It was so cool. But you want to top it with Penn State, Ohio State, or Texas, I would be in shambles emotionally just experiencing the whole thing. So, Lord, please line this up. And, we were talking about it for the last 2 years, how cool it's going to be to have a home playoff game in Tuscaloosa.
How much cooler is it, though?
Yes, to go invade
yes.
someone else's territory, experience another culture.
I would love to see how well Tide fans can maybe travel somewhere like that, too.
So number 5, I have Ohio State.
I got Notre Dame at 5.
They're going to get some
shown us
respect.
so many times that they just love Notre Dame. They will give them giant respect. They'll look at that Navy game. Oh, they dominated.
You got to take care of the Catholics,
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked to see Notre Dame slotted in there.
And the top 4 are pretty easy to figure out. I think that they will pretty much just make them the 4 conference champions. I got BYU, Miami, Georgia, and Oregon.
Yep, right
4-1.
Yep. I think that's pretty much what we'll see. If they do decide to go with the actual format of what the playoff is supposed to be for these rankings, which as far as I know, that's what they're going to do. I don't know why they would do anything else. That's what it will probably look like from 4-1, 100%.
All right, well, that's going to be tonight's college football playoff rankings, and obviously we will see if we are correct or not. You'll be able to read about it on BamaCentral.com, the home for the Alabama Crimson Tide on SI. We'll have your polls pretty much as soon as they're out, seeing if Alabama is in or is out. Now, look, if Alabama's out at 13, Mason.
Still okay.
You think it'd be flip-flop Alabama and LSU? Maybe LSU gets in right there?
Probably. I would think that's probably who they throw in there. Maybe an SMU.
And just how wild. I mean, I think this game's already going to be wild this weekend. But if you make him like 11 and 13 in the college football playoff poll,
basically,
like everyone knows it's win and get in.
Oh man,
everyone knows it's losing and you're out. But like, let's just make it let's make it obvious. I mean,
they could do that. I think they're going to keep Bama in there though.
What do you think the national reaction? Because
I think people are going to be furious. And
everybody who are not smart.
Everybody's going to say they lost to Vanderbilt.
Yes, what? Like,
boo-hoo.
Go
watch Vanderbilt play football.
Go to your Google machine and type in AP poll and scroll through.
I'm looking at it right now.
And you also the 24th.
Vanderbilt is ranked again. They're 24th.
Right. Last week we did the whole shenanigans about them being a top 30 team and people saying, Joe, they're not a top 30 team because they're not actually ranked. And I'm
right,
like, dude, read the bleeping poll. Read it and count. +1 is 26. And now you're back in the polls. So they're not a top 30 team. You're right. They're a top 25 team. And if your worst loss, I'm sorry, look, we're not sitting here saying you should ever lose to Vanderbilt. But your worst loss is to a top 25 team?
Come on, you're doing pretty good.
What's Tennessee at? 10, 11, 9, 10, 11?
Tennessee's at 7.
You lost to 7 and 24. Are those
that's what you're going to hang your hat on as being like the death of Alabama?
Big black marks on your resume.
Ridiculous.
And you've beaten
ball.
You've beat the number 2 team, the 1 team. And I got people say, "Oh, well, you almost lost," but you didn't.
You didn't.
You got out
what
to
does
30,
almost mean? That doesn't mean anything to me.
You got out to a 30-7 lead. Like, you're fine. And yes, it took some drama to hold on to it. But guess what? You beat.
Nobody's going to remember that in 10 years. They're going to remember that Kirby Smart can't beat Alabama.
You got ESPN still putting out
48-0,
so much, 48-9
against 49-Alabama teams. That is the funniest. Kirby is probably so pissed when he sees that.
Why do they do that?
Oh, I don't know. I really don't, because I do not. I never have.
I want to be
played
objective.
The card of they have Bama bias, but when you see graphics like that, that is purely a Kirby Smart insult stat against Alabama. Like, that is not a. Nobody looks at that and says, "Oh, that's really impressive." They look at it and say, Oh, he can't beat Alabama.
Right.
So what do you? So like, does ESPN love Alabama? Maybe.
It doesn't. I just don't get it.
Maybe they just don't like Kirby, which wouldn't surprise me.
Kirby's a little tough to deal with in the media.
Kirby's a bit abrasive. The way he runs that program is a bit abrasive.
He's got a lot of Coach Saban in him.
We need to see what maybe those players, are they still driving real fast over there in Athens?
He's got a lot of Saban in him.
He does
with dealing with the media.
Yeah,
dealing with the bleep you. You're not worth my time. Kind of.
Yeah.
I'm only using you to send a message to my team. Your only purpose is for me.
And he just flips it on him. It goes from the coach being the media's mouthpiece to the media being the coach's mouthpiece.
Yeah, that like he embodies that from Coach Saban a lot. Like,
Coach, he learned everything he knows from Coach. And I know that Bama fans say that as like a jab against, but like it's not wrong. The man learned most of what he did as a coach, what he does as a coach under Nick Saban.
LSU, Miami Dolphins, Alabama.
Yeah. It's there's a reason that he coaches a lot like Nick Saban.
Hell, and he's successful like Coach Saban as well, except for when he plays the Tide.
Crazy that went over into the new regime.
All right, Mason, let's get on out of here for the day because we have got to go talk to Alabama football players over at the Malmore Athletic Facility. You can check that out on on BamaCentral's YouTube channel. We'll have all those interviews up there very shortly. If you want to catch Coach Oates after the game last night, the UNC Asheville coach after the game last night, you can see it on the BamaCentral YouTube channel as well. Yeah, he said, "Oh, this is the best Alabama team I've ever seen in this building." And I concur at this moment. One game in, I concur. And now, granted, my eyeballs only go back to 2008 in that building. So many of your eyeballs might go back further, but goodness gracious, get into Coleman on Friday night to watch Alabama and Arkansas State. We will be talking to Alabama football players today. You can read about it on Alabama Crimson Tide on SI. We'll have another show tomorrow, getting you more ready for the LSU matchup. Tonight, I'm going to spend the rest of my afternoon as I distract myself from election stuff. I'm going to go vote, absolutely, and you should go vote as well. Exercise your right to choose. But the rest of my day, we'll be watching LSU tape so that I can give you a much better picture tomorrow what the LSU Tigers will look like and how we can get after them.
You can get into Friday's basketball game for $5. $5 US will get you into this game. Do not let anything stop you from being in Coleman Coliseum Friday night.
$5
history in the making.
Absolutely. So be there, and we will be back tomorrow with another edition of the Joe Gaither Show, talking Alabama LSU as we keep rolling on the month of November right here on BamaCentral and BamaCentral.com.